Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Reality Realness with 3 S's. I'm your host, Chantel Francis, here with Matthew to discuss my draft team with the Nullified Take and Angelcake Entertainment. How are you doing, Matthew? And are you excited to see what team the audience drafted for me? I was unable to make the draft live, so I proposed for the audience to choose my team. So they were picking my team for the draft. So, are you excited? How are you feeling?
Always excited to grade a team and see if it's people I would draft. Hopefully the audience has similar views on the challenge as me. But I'm excited to see, and I'm even more excited to get to All Stars in just a couple weeks now.
Yeah, we're getting close. We're under 2 weeks. So we're about like 11 days away, 12 days away, something like that, which is pretty fun. I definitely am excited for All Stars. We've been waiting for All Stars for over almost a year, probably around a year, actually, exactly. Right? When did they come back?
It's been a while. I mean, I think people had been starting to expect it like well over 6 months ago. So definitely a long wait. And from what I hear, the rumblings, it's going to be worth the wait. I think this is going to be a fun and dramatic season. So the preview looks good. I'm definitely very excited for this one.
Now, I want to actually put this on to Instagram, but this kind of screwed up. So hold on 1 second. Also, for audience choice. Just 1 second. Hopefully, this is the same key. Maybe not anymore. Okay, so how they started this draft was they basically did a wheel of names where they're going to choose whether or not, or who is going to go first. And then they also did it if it's going to be male or female. So I was the one that ended up choosing first. So I'm in the pole position. And then it's going to be female's choice. So if you were me and you were going to be choosing first for this all-star cast, who do you think should be chosen
For
first?
women first,
Women first.
it's tough. The women's side of this cast is extremely stacked. I'd I'd be looking at one of three. I think I mean similar to our draft with Michelle, I think if you're going for the win, I say you're looking at Kara, Laurel, and Cam are the three big ones for me. I think like you also can't go wrong with like a Rachel, very well set up. Um, so I guess those are the four I'd be looking at. But for me personally, I would probably lean Cam or Laurel.
All right, so good choice because the audience chose for me Laurel. So I do think that this is a great choice. Like you said, the women this season are stacked. I do feel like it is going to be a woman that takes the win this season just because it's just so they're so strong. I don't think they'll be able to get all of them out and then like some guy comes and swoops in and wins in the end. So I do think it's going to be a female winner. Do we know if it's both male and female or if it's just one winner? Do we know?
I don't know. I hope it's one of each.
Yeah, me too.
Because even though the male side is not nearly as stacked, I think there are still a few people there that if it was one winner, I could very easily win. And personally, I would rather have whether a new or a returning female winner. So I definitely hope it's one of each. And also, like a lot of the men that are strong contenders, in my opinion, are have never won before. So I would actually like to see a man win as well. Honestly, just we should always have two winners. So I hope it's two, but I don't know for sure.
I hope it's two as well. We do have some friends joining us here. So hello, Dudley. Hi, Willie. Mike is here. Mike wanted Kara for my first pick. I mean, I'd be quite pleased with Kara as a first pick. It would also be great to take Kara likely away from Chris because Chris is definitely a big Kara fan. Oh, so what I didn't tell you was, so the people that are in this draft are myself, Chris from the Nullified Take, Drew from Angelcake Entertainment channel, and Kahuna, who speaks on the Nullified Take. And so the order of the draft ended up being myself, then Kahuna, then Chris. No, sorry, then Drew, and then Chris. And then it was a snake draft so that it looped back the other way. So still saying hello. So Willie wanted Cara. Okay, so Willie's vote counted. Mary wanted, sorry, Laurel. Mary wanted Cara. Hi, Glenda. Hello, hello. Mike is saying it's 1 minute winner, much like season 39. Interesting.
Love that.
But I mean, this would have been recorded before season 39 went out, so maybe season 39 was a copycat of All Stars to a certain extent.
Yeah.
Hi, Kay.
It's just also weird as well because both of these were right before season 40. So for me, like, wouldn't they rather just have more winners to have potentially in the mix for 40? I know it's not an all winner season, but I feel like the more winners, the better. Also, the winner of 39 isn't even on 40. So I think they really messed up by just not having a couple extra winners in the mix. But
so Drew said he read that it was only one winner. Boo, 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 boo. Hi, Darren. Yeah, only one winner. We all want two winners, Willie. We all want two winners. So I don't know if you're familiar with Kahuna, but Kahuna has been on the Nullified Take for the last at least year. It might be a little bit longer than a year now. And he has been winning all of the drafts that they've been doing. So with that being said, who do you think that Kahuna may have chosen to go to be on his team next?
yeah, I mean, I think it's got to be like Cam or Kara are the two like obvious choices there, and Rachel being slightly after that, but I think Cam and Kara are just more obvious choices.
You got it. So Cara Maria is going to be on Team Kahuna. He's sniping that away from Chris. I mean, it wasn't likely that Chris being in the fourth position to choose that he was going to get Cara, but yeah, obviously this is her forage back into the challenge universe. She has something to prove. We can expect a win from her because she does really well in these games, especially since she's been older. So yeah, obviously she's an amazing pick.
Yeah, I think Kara is one of the like big things. Kara being back is like one of the big storylines, obviously, and it's she wants it bad, and I think the time away will have helped her lighten up a little bit. Like I do
Mm-hmm.
still think she'll be very cutthroat, very aggressive, which will be fun, but I don't think it's going to be as kind of dark as it was on her last couple seasons. So I think we're going to see like a very good version of Kara and someone that embraces everything, whether it's going into eliminations, creating good TV. I think she really wants to be back, and we're going to see a really good side of her. So, personally, I'm very excited about Kara being back.
So now you were thinking that maybe next would be Rachel Robinson, but that is not who Drew has for his first pick. So do you have a second thought as to who Drew might have picked for his first pick on the draft?
Yeah, no, I actually think it will be Cam. I think Cam is definitely above Rachel.
100% it is Cam. That team Drew chose here. Herself is somebody that's super strong. She's going to be on the young end of All Stars. I think she's still in her 20s. I think she's only maybe 29. If anything, she's in her very early 30s. She did just have a baby, so that might make her have a little bit need a little bit more strength, but we did see that Janae came 7 months after she gave birth and she was still able to place second her first time back on All Stars. So not counting Cam out at all. I think the fact that she has Leroy playing this season is going to be really great for her. And they want to win some money for their children, the family that they're building. So I can see Cam doing pretty well.
Yeah. Yeah, I think the people to watch out for, like the people that we know have relationships or have relationships after the show. I mean, we know Laurel reconnected with Nicole, and obviously that's fizzled out in a massive way since the show aired, or since the show filmed. But the fact that like Laurel has Nicole, Leroy and Cam have each other, they're going to be like big threats and something to look out for because you don't want to mess with one half of a tight pair. And
Mm-hmm.
if your shot misses when you take a shot at a Cam and Leroy or Laurel and Nicole, like you're in big trouble. And it's similar for Rachel and Veronica and Tina to an extent. If you take a shot at like a very tight group or tight pair, you have to hit the shot, and it's really hard to land a shot on Cam and Leroy, considering how great they both are with physical challenges. Cam's great with puzzles, so Cam is definitely one to watch out for. And even having just recently given birth, I still think Cam is going to be a massive threat here.
Agreed, 100%. Oh boy, so Darren here is saying that the fans did me wrong in the Nullified Take draft. I'm gonna have to hear your opinion now. Also, just so you're aware, with the draft, it's not just the winner. So the winner does get points, but it's I believe there's hookup points, there's fight points. If there's any disqualifications, that's minus points. If they make it to a final, that's points. I think most confessionals going into the final, more points. Definitely every confessional is also a point. So there are multiple ways of gaining points in these drafts. It's not just the winner of the daily or the winner. I don't know if you even get points for winner of the elimination. So just so you're aware, also with the point structure, it's not necessarily just all about strength and who's going to be strongest in the final.
Yeah. And even with that being said, like I think those three are still like definitely the best choices. Like Cam is just such a great narrator. Kara will be a great narrator. Will fights. Laurel will have hookups and fights probably with the same person. So yeah, I think those three, any point system, like they're pretty safe bets.
Okay, Mike's here says, I don't think we did. I think we made good picks. Okay, so it's going to be a battle whether we made good picks or not. And you're going to be the determining factor, Matthew. Okay, so Chris is up next. Now, Chris did not choose Rachel next. Do you have another thought as to who you think Chris might have chose next?
Maybe Avery, just because of her age and like physical potential. Um, yeah, I would guess maybe Avery.
You are incorrect once again because he chose dun dun
Oh, okay.
dun. He chose Nicole.
Yeah,
Are
makes
you
sense.
surprised? I mean, a little bit, yeah. Mm-hmm.
I'm a little surprised just because, like, obviously she's very unlikable. So I just like personally would never take her. But I mean, when it comes to like fights, hookups, going far, winning eliminations, like, yeah, like she fits the bill there. I don't think she's someone that will win a final because we know she's horrible with puzzles and checkpoints and things like that. But she'll definitely get a lot of points when it comes to fighting and hooking up. I'm pretty sure in the preview, in the 60-second preview, she's both fighting and hooking up. So she'll definitely get a lot of points and she's going to bring something. It's just not my cup of tea. So I personally would never take her.
I totally understand where you're coming from. I feel like did I end up taking her on our draft?
I can't remember.
I
I
feel like I
definitely
might
don't
have.
think I took her.
And I don't think Michelle
Uh,
did either. So I think I might have taken it. Taken her. Yeah, I mean, you're totally right. I do think that she will get a wide array of points. And so, yeah, I think that she's definitely a good pick, especially for Drew's type of draft. We know what we can expect from her. And so we can expect those hookup points and those fight points. We know that's going to happen because we've also seen some of the mess that's happened after the season. So we know that there's going to be some drama within the season.
yeah.
She's so messy.
Yeah, that's going to be another big thing to watch out for. And it's yeah, it's definitely going to be a rocky road, and it's going to be like some people are going to get very sick of the like Nicole and Laurel of it all, but it's most definitely going to be a massive part of the season. So if you're not a fan of Nicole and Laurel's relationship, brace yourself because I imagine we're going to get quite a bit of it over the next few months.
So Kay says that Nicole has a physicality, but oof, her social game is atrocious, but so juicy to watch. Yeah, exactly. So she doesn't
Mhm.
get any social points, but she will get a lot of other points, I think. All right, so first up for the men for Chris. I don't think that there's very many people to choose from to have in the first position here. Who do you think that Chris chose for his number one male pick?
I think it's gotta be Leroy.
It has got to be Leroy, and it was Leroy. 100%. Obviously, he's the first pick here. I don't think
Yeah.
anybody would not choose him first.
Yeah, just like the fact that the male side of the cast is much weaker and he has Cam there. Like obviously he's never won before. I think there's only a couple men on the cast that have won, but he's obviously like physically still great. I feel like he's like underrated in a way because he's kind of lived in Banana's shadow for most of his challenge career, but I think he's someone that's like capable of winning on his own. Uh, Obviously, it is a individual final, but he's also like great with dailies, great with eliminations, and Cam will keep him protected for the majority of the game. And he's not like incapable of strategizing, but she's obviously great with that. So, yeah, I think Leroy is just an obvious one
And
here.
he doesn't have. So I remember when was it Double Agent or was it Spies, Lies, and Ally? I think it's Double Agent, where she kind of wanted to get out Ashley first, and like she was just kind of going for the jugular with getting all the big hitters out first. And I was kind of mad at Cam, being like, I thought that she should maybe play with them a little bit instead of becoming an enemy of theirs so quickly on. But I think that her aggressive strategy on like getting people that are good out will benefit them better in the All Stars round because they're not as good friends with some of these people. They're not going to be benefited as much by, if they don't care if they get out Avery. Like I don't think they're best friends with Avery, so it doesn't matter so much. It's not going to hurt somebody's feelings. So I think that Cam's kind of aggressive strategy of like getting the big people out will really heavily benefit them this season.
Yeah, I mean, the big people they're going to have to get out are primarily going to be Kara and Laurel. Um, and then I guess like the trio of like Veronica, Rachel, and Tina will need to be broken up. Um, so yeah, I mean, when Cam did that on the last season, I loved that. That was like, I wanted her to like keep going with that. Like, I think everyone should, if you're on the challenge and CT West and Bananas, whoever's there, all these like winners, like get them out early. You
I
know,
just thought it
production's gonna
was
help them, right?
a little bit too soon. Like I do hear what you're saying, and it made her an enemy of theirs right off the bat. And so I just thought it could have been a little bit finessed a little bit better, um, for it to be executed better. But I hear what you're saying.
Yeah. I mean, I hope if Cam ever comes back to the main show, I hope she keeps that up.
Well,
Just like right
now it's
after all
different
these clips.
times. I'll be like, go for them. I don't care. Do it,
Hmm.
do it, do it. All right, so then Drew was choosing next. I guess who do you think that Drew was choosing?
I think probably Brad or Tony.
You said it first, Brad. It is. It's like these guys.
I mean, it's like there's only so many options on this cast, so I feel like it probably went very similar to our draft. I don't know if maybe someone has like personal favorites, but yeah, Brad. I think the three big guys here are Leroy, Brad, and Tony, in my opinion.
Ding, ding, ding. So yeah, I don't know if Brad's going to win. I don't know if he's got it because he lost a lot of steam when he came in as a mercenary in 39. But I think he's more at home in the All Stars arena. I think that he will compete better than he did when he was on 39. And so I can see him getting to the end. Can I see him winning? Not sure, but I think he'll go
So the thing
far.
that Yeah, the thing that I'm interested about Brad is why was Brad called to be a mercenary on 40 and sorry on 39 and then obviously he was called back for 40. So obviously like Brad did enough to like keep him at the top of the list. I mean, they only chose 5 men from Era 1. They only chose 5 men as mercenaries for 39. So obviously Brad is someone that they are fond enough of. So I wonder if he does have like a decent run here, because he isn't necessarily the most obvious person to call as a mercenary. Like
The
you would think
backup
maybe like
after
a
Bananas too.
yeah, but even then, like, why not like Derek, who's like a bigger name in my opinion than Brad, or a Mark Long? So the fact that Brad was called, like maybe he has a good performance here. Obviously, again, like he's on 40, so he obviously has done enough to stay in the mix. But although that being said, there's are quite a few people from All Stars 4 that are going to be on 40, which I'm also interested in because some of them are more surprising. And it's like, okay,
Mhm.
well, what did they do on 30 on All Stars 4 to get that call for 40? So that's also why I'm very optimistic about All Stars 4 because it seems like these people made an impression, Brad included.
100%. Like Brad, yeah, to get the call, but two back-to-back calls for the next two seasons, that's pretty impressive, considering he was kind of out of the mix for a little while. Then he came back and did you do two seasons of All Stars before the four or
Yeah, he
one?
did two.
So this is his third All Star season.
Yeah,
So
so
he
he's
did
been
two,
on
three, and
three of the
four.
four. Mhm.
Um, he was kind of out of it for a little bit, but since his relationship with Brittany on the main show, um, and he had a decent run, I'd say, last season with Jody, and so let's hope that he's really good. Like he's has like a he's I don't know, full of more life, and maybe he gets that win, or maybe he gets really far. I
Yeah.
could see him getting to a final against all the other guys here. There's not that many to compete with, I would say, and so I would assume Brad gets to at least the final.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd be pretty surprised if Brad went out early. And also he's not, at least on All Stars, he hasn't been confrontational. He hasn't been causing drama, which may be a little worse for TV as opposed to like the old Brad. But in terms of like fitting in and doing well in the game, I definitely think he'll do just fine.
So next up is Kahuna, and you kind of already said who he's going to be picking. Yes, he does pick Tony. It's Tony time. You have your homage to Tony behind you, as expected. Is Tony the person that you're most excited for this season?
On the male side, 100%. Tony being back is so fun. And it's such a mystery too, because we really just don't know what to expect. I mean, obviously, him on the challenge has been very messy. Basically, every season he's done, he's always been in the middle of a lot of drama, and his life has changed quite a bit since then. Even though it's only been like 5, 6 years, but Tony is just such a fun character and a fun person. So yeah, I'm super excited to see what kind of Tony we're gonna see here. And obviously, again, like he's someone else similar to Brad that's like fully back in the mix now. So I wonder if it's going to be a new Tony or if it's going to be more of the same. But I hope honestly it's maybe more of the same, but less like cheating and like crazy like personal stuff. But I hope he's still a messy player. But I'm really excited to see what's going on with Tony.
Uh, Dreadful Ruby here is saying that Tony has aged nicely. I guess like a fine wine, some will say. I am curious about how Tony is. Is Tony drinking right now? Is he all business? Is Tony uh, faithful right now? We do know that he has at least two children. One with what was her name? Just with an M, right?
Madison, is it?
And then obviously they're married now. His wife, right? One
Yeah,
child.
is that Brit? Is his wife Brittany? Is his wife named Brittany? I can't remember.
Brittany?
Um, n- no, maybe not. I think he had a kid with the girl from the real world, which I think was Madison.
Yes.
Um, yeah, and then he has one or two kids with his now
Alyssa.
fiance or
Yes,
wife,
that's right. I was like,
Alyssa. Okay.
Brittany? No, but a name for somebody from Big Brother. Yes, Alyssa, it is. Yeah, so Tony time. I want to see if they're gonna make him eat like something, a whole plate of something nasty. I want to see the best of Tony, uh, which is like some slight toxicity, please. I don't
Yeah.
want to see him being too reformed. I want to see a little bit more of the Tony time grit. So I am looking forward just to see what he brings. Yeah, it's fun. It's
Mhm.
fun. So now is where things get a little bit murky, and I'm curious as to how the audience was choosing and picking. Who would you think should be next up for the audience to pick for my number one draft for the guys?
Uh, it's tough. I think it's just a clear three. I think like looking at people just physically, I mean, someone like Ace is like someone that looks the part, but I don't know how much game he actually has. Um, Now knowing that a few of these people are going to be on season 40, maybe that is like something that pushes over the edge. Because I would imagine if someone's going to be on season 40, they're probably not going to go home very early in season All Stars 4. But I don't know. It's really a crapshoot after those three.
Yeah. So this is when I was looking at my whole draft. I was like, the women, decent. The men,
Yeah.
I'm not so sure. Um, I wish that we had started with the men, so at least I would have been able to get Leroy, and then all the women are better collectively than the men, and so I would have had
Mhm.
decent women still, maybe even the same. You never really know. So they chose for me Kefla. How do we feel about
Okay.
Kefla being the pick here?
See, that's surprising to me. I'm super excited to see Kefla. I honestly don't remember him, but the fact is, like, a lot of these people that are just popping up that haven't been around for a while have been super fun to see. Like someone like a Letarian, like a Hisela. These people that they're not top. Yes, even who won the first season, like they're not top of mind because you just never expect to see them again. But they've honestly been pretty enjoyable on the show and very entertaining. He obviously he looks like a massive dude, which might not bode well in a final. I think I think when we did our draft, I kind of compared him to like a mixture of Mark Long and Letarian.
Okay,
Um,
that's a good
so
comparison.
yeah, I'm like super excited. Like I see him being like the kind of godfather type role here. Obviously, he's probably the oldest person on the cast, I would guess.
Yes.
But I'm excited for him. I don't think he has a shot of winning, but obviously he's like physically very imposing. And I'm excited to see what he brings to the table, but definitely would not be my choice here personally.
So Glenda says, I don't think that this is a bad choice, but we have to wait and see. Now, I don't think it's a bad choice, but for the number one guy on my team, I don't know if I would choose him here. I'd be happy to have him on my team if I ended up with him in the end. But when there's still people that are younger, I know, I'm on the older side of things, but if I'm looking at a competitive game where the younger people are likely going to group together to get out the people that they don't know, the older people, I just don't know how connected he is to be able to have numbers to keep him in the game. And I don't know how used to this new format that he is. When he was playing, it was team formats where you'd win as a team, you'd do dailies as a team, and so I don't know how he could, well, he's going to be able to fend for himself. So
Mhm.
because I haven't seen him to want to choose him as a number one pick here for my male team. Now, I appreciate that there's a lot of thought that went in from everybody in the audience that picks, and I'm just scrutinizing it from as I see it. Obviously, I have no idea how the game's actually going to play out. I just don't know if I could put faith in someone that hasn't been on the show in over 15 years and that has not played in the new era, that has not really been around the energy of the challenge. Like I haven't really heard from him in over a decade, you know?
Yeah, the way that I see this going, and again, like I don't know much about this guy. I don't know much about Kefla, but I think the upside here is he's like someone that really wants the experience again. It's like kind of like a hey, like a midlife thing, like let me go back on the challenge and get this like crazy experience. And I think what we found with like someone like a Letarian who obviously physically is like a similar build and similar in terms of his history with the show is Letarian came back multiple times and he was happy to go into eliminations for the most part. He enjoyed the physical part of the game. And I could see Kefla being similar, where he doesn't really care to politic much, um, and he is more there for the experience, which is fine, especially for all stars. But I just don't know if that translates super well to getting to the end.
Well, thank you. I'll take the compliment here. Um, yeah, I don't know how he's gonna do. Uh, just as somebody is saying here, Darren is saying that Asian All Star seems to make the big difference. Likely, the younger people will do better in All Stars just because they're 20 years younger than Kefla. Kefla is I think 52 or 53, and Cam is in her 20s still. Like Leroy is in his early to mid 30s. They just have a lot of they got a lot of track left to run, and he's a little bit on the older side. But I'm interested to see how he plays. I just don't know if I would have chosen him first here.
Yeah, I think that's true about All Stars, which is a little bit of a flaw in All Stars, to be honest, because like the whole point of All Stars is for like some of the older like people that have not been on the show as much, but yet when you look at it, like a lot of the people that have done very well are the younger people. I mean, you look at like obviously Yes One, who's a little bit older, but like John A, who came in first for the women in season one, along with Kellyanne. They're two of the younger people. Kayla did very well. Obviously, John A ended up winning a couple seasons. Wes, who's been with the show for a while. So a lot of the
Wes
people that
still
have
in his
been
30s, you know what I mean?
yeah, and he hasn't had, like, any sort of drop off because he's just been part of the challenge world, so, yeah, apart from like, obviously, MJ did well, he won a season, but, yeah, a lot of the people that have been doing very well are younger, which I would like to see maybe not have some of these like, obviously, I love Cam, but
I don't know.
should Cam really be on
In the
All
beginning, I
Stars?
wanted to keep it old, like the older people. Like I wanted people
Yeah,
that have been from the real world, road rules. No, are you the one? Sorry, Cam, you wouldn't like. Ideally, you wouldn't be on these seasons for me just because you hadn't been in the franchise for long enough. And maybe
mhm.
like a 35 would be the youngest, maybe or 40 even.
Yeah, honestly, even like Tony came from Real World, but like, should Tony be on All Stars?
He
I
still,
don't
I
think
think,
so
can do the
personally.
main season, right? Like Tony's what?
Yeah,
He's still 30, early 30s, I think.
yeah, he's got like I doubt he's over 35. I'd be pretty
So
surprised.
let's look. How old is Tony? Tony time.
I guess he's like 32 or 33.
And as much as like I want to see him, I'm curious. I think that he still would be a better fit for, the main season, the main show.
Yeah, or if like they are not, if someone like Cam or Tony is not willing to do a full season, like USA is available now too. So I just think like as much as I love Cam and Tony, like throw them on
Okay, so he's
USA, get them on the
35, turning 36, so he's
35.
getting up there
Okay, so
a little bit, but he's still on the younger side of things, right? I think the
yeah.
average age is 37, and that's with all these young people bringing down like the older age.
It's funny.
Was
I
it
think the
37
average
or was
age,
it higher than that? I
I'm
think I
pretty
sent
sure
that
the
to you.
average age on season 40 is like 37 or 38, which is
Oh,
pretty
maybe I'm
crazy.
looking at that average age, not this one.
Yeah, which
Okay.
is I actually like that because I think a problem with the main series is it just tends to be way too young and like Instagrammy. But I do like a average age being a bit higher, especially for all stars.
For all stars, I thought it should be mandatory that they're old. That
Yeah.
they're too old to play on the main show. That's what I
Mhm.
wanted. But they decided to not do that to make it less likely for an older person to win, which sucks. Okay, so they gave me Kefla. Which female do you think that they gave me next, or do you think they should have given me next?
I got to go back to Rachel now. I mean, I'm just gonna keep saying Rachel until she comes up because
Well,
I
you're
think
gonna have
she's
to
like the
keep
clear.
saying it because they didn't give me Rachel. I mean,
Really?
Janelle is a good pick. The women are stronger than the men, I would say, collectively. But I would have wanted Rachel back here just because of more faith in Rachel's game. She has a little bit more numbers.
Yeah.
Janelle, yes, she should have won, I believe, the All Star season that she was running with Darrell, the final. I do think she should have won that. But if I recall correctly, she was kind of wanting to quit because she had hurt her back and she didn't want to further damage her back. And I appreciate anybody wanting to take care of their health, but I was just kind of annoyed that like she was so close to the final and she was willing to say that like it's not worth it, I'm not going to do it. And so I was a little bit disappointed there. So I would have wanted to see Rachel, who's still in excellent shape, that does all the challenge fitness videos. I picking now, I would have wanted to pick Rachel for sure.
Yeah, I would definitely go Rachel over Janelle. I like Janelle. I think she's very solid, but I think Janelle is more of like solid is the right word for her. Like I don't necessarily think she like stands out as much as someone like Rachel does. And then the fact that Rachel is clearly like going to be working with a few people here. I don't know necessarily who Janelle is going to be working with. I'm sure she has friends from like her time on the show and her time on All Stars, but Rachel is just like I don't think Rachel would be coming unless she was confident that she was going to do well.
Lovable Nikki says, "Child, they did you dirty." She could do very well. I'm not saying that she can't, but in a season where we've been anticipating Rachel coming back, I think that they are going to heavily feature her on the show. I think she's going to have tons of confessionals. I think that she's going to have tons of storylines. I just don't know if Janelle is going to bring me as many points as Rachel would be bringing me in this at this point. I'd be happy to
Yeah.
have her on my team, but if I had to choose between her and Rachel right now, I would have chosen Rachel. I would. People think I was set up. I don't know. Yeah, they're like they are totally setting you up. Ugh. I trusted you. I said, well, how about we just go full chaos mode and just put me to the wheel? And they're like, well, maybe we should give the audience the choice. If it was the wheel, I would be less upset. Not upset, but like I'd be I just have to go with it. But now I have someone to blame.
Yeah. I feel like on the male side, it's like after the top three, you could literally just go to a wheel and like that'll be just as good as picking based off of skill because there isn't as many options. But yeah, I think on the female side, there's just so many good options there. And I just don't know if Janelle has like the allies to like go super far. Obviously, like she's capable physically, but she's not the best physically, isn't the best situated. So I think for me, she'd be more like middle tier for the women.
So Frank here is saying that he was representing me, but was only successful in drafting Laurel for me. And I know that there must have been slight sabotage going because I listened to the beginning of the draft. And what player do you think got for the number one position got like the second or third most votes? And this is not
Uh,
part of the top three that we had already chosen.
Jenna's ex-boyfriend Jay.
No, for the women. I'm just saying that,
Oh, for
like,
the
for
women.
when we started the draft, listened to the beginning of the draft, and I was hearing who the audience were trying to get me to have, and it wasn't the part of the top three women that we've already talked about, or any of the women we've already talked about.
Oh, I don't know.
Jasmine had like
Oh,
almost the most amount of votes, so they were definitely trying to sabotage here,
yeah.
which is not fair. Not fair. Okay, so you gotta know it. Kahuna was able to pick up Rachel, which is like pretty amazing. So now he has Cara, Maria, and Rachel, which is like pretty powerful, I would say.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anything else you want to say about Rachel here?
I mean, we've touched on it a bunch. I think Rachel was just I just don't think Rachel showing up to a show after all these years if she didn't think she could do well. Obviously, I'm sure she knew her best friends were going to be there too. So they definitely did some pre gaming. I would be pretty surprised if people took a shot early because you don't want to take a shot at a tight three and miss. So you're going to have to be very calculated with taking a shot at the Mean Girls alliance. And yeah, Rachel obviously is in great shape, has been in the challenge universe doing these workout shows. So I think Rachel being back is super exciting and will go very far.
Yeah, I think she's going to go far. I want to see what she has to do. I think the show is going to heavily focus on her. I'm excited to see her back with her Mean Girls. I want to see what she does. And so I wish I was rooting for her on my team. Unfortunately, I'm not. It will be Kahuna that is rooting for Rachel. Okay, next female up. Who would you pick in this position?
And I personally would pick Veronica because I love her, but I don't anticipate she's coming up here.
This would be Drew's pick.
Yeah. I don't know.
Well, you did. You knew. It was
Oh, right,
Avery.
right. I forgot about her because I already spoke about her a bit, so
Yeah.
that makes sense. I forgot we didn't actually like get to her yet.
Yeah.
Yeah, Avery makes a lot of sense.
Avery makes a lot of sense. She's young. We know she's going to get some hookup points. Spoiler alert, she does end up having a little something. I think she's still dating Adam that's on the season with her. So that's something will be good. We know that she's physically strong. We know that she's on the younger end of this cast. So definitely a great pick. And she's pretty feisty. You were saying that you're doing a rewatch of the Real World Brooklyn and reminded of how feisty she is. So I want to
Yeah,
see what she has to do.
Avery is very underrated. Yeah, so I have been rewatching her Real World season on Portland, and she is scrappy. I mean, she literally got in a fist fight with Naya, who is much bigger than her, and held her own there. And I think she was underrated on the challenge too. Also, again, like the fact that we know she's on season 40 means that she made a good impression here. There are a number of other people from this cast on 40, so I wonder if part of the reason Avery's there is because maybe she had rivalries or alliances or some sort of storyline with other people on the cast. So I just think given age, ability, the fact that she's on 40, I think that all bodes well for her stay on All Stars 4.
Agreed. And, Janelle is not on All Stars 40 now. I know she has a career and a life and a family. So obviously, for Janelle, All Stars is more appealing for her to come on for a couple weeks to play. But I would have hoped that the audience would have chosen somebody that was selected for All Stars, basically, if
Yeah,
they're not going to
that's
choose
the,
Rachel, right?
exactly. That's like a bit of a tell for me, which kind of sucks that like All Stars is coming out so close to 40 because it's like, all right, well, if all these people that are kind of random choices are in the mix for 40, it makes me think that they
They do well.
must do well on All Stars, which kind of sucks. But I mean, it is what it is. Yeah, the people that are not popping up on 40, it's like, well, why are they not popping up? Popping up? Is it because they go home early? So, bit of a tell, maybe. Hopefully not.
We'll see. I mean, I think she's going to do well, to be honest. All right. And Chris's first pick, what do you think? Or not first pick, but next girl pick.
Um, Maybe you get like a Tina here.
You got
Um, yeah,
it. Obviously, I love Tina. I'm surprised that Chris chose Tina because he doesn't usually go for people that are not super young and super athletic, but I think he's going for points. I think he's hoping for confessional points and potentially fight points. So I'm hoping, like, I love Tina. I don't actually want her to quit, but I want her to quit just so he can get a DQ point or minus point here. Um, yeah. What do you think about
yeah.
Tina?
No, I love Tina. I think it's like similar. I mean, we know she's on 40, so I think it's a little different because Tina's obviously made an impression over the last couple of years doing multiple All-Stars. So I think Tina's someone, given the theme of 40, would be in the mix regardless. But she's got her friends here. She got Rachel, Veronica. I think if she's going to go far, if she's going to do well, like this is probably the season to do it. I don't know if she's someone that would win a season, but I could definitely see this being her best outing.
Mhm.
Um, of
She
all her
really
All
knows
Stars
what she's getting
appearances.
herself into this time around. Like, I don't think that she's going to be medically DQ'd this time around. I don't think she's going to quit.
Yeah.
I want her to just because I want him to lose points, but obviously I want her to be here for the long run because I find her entertaining. Uh, she's just good TV, and she knows how to make it, and she knows what she's on the show for, and I appreciate that.
Mhm.
So good on you,
Well, of the
Chris.
how would you rank the I know we haven't got to Veronica yet, but of the three mean girls, like in terms of who do you think will go the furthest and who do you think will be out first? Like, how would you rank them one to three?
I I'm thinking, I know you love Veronica, but I think Veronica will be out first potentially. Tina maybe second, and then Rachel might last the longest. Um, Veronica has just not shown, other than puzzles and like things that require intelligence. She hasn't proven in her, coming back to these shows to be good at anything else really. And so I worried she's not very tall. That I'm just worried that she's physically not going to be able to do that well. I think Tina is a little bit better physically than Veronica is. She has a little bit more height on her. I think she even won a challenge or two, uh, physical challenge or two in the All Stars. Was it two that she was on, or three that she won? Anyway,
She was
she
on
won something where
both,
she
I
had to like
believe. Yeah.
use her body, and yeah, so I just think that she potentially could do better physically than Veronica. And then Rachel, we know that she is a physical specimen, that she's very, very athletic, in very, very good shape, and she has a no quit kind of attitude. So I just think that she might be able to go down. I have the most faith in her going down into elimination and coming out, and then also winning dailies potentially.
Yeah, I think it's interesting though, because like I agree with everything you're saying, but the thing is, like Veronica is the least threatening to the other players because, like, obviously, like, let's be real, if she's not in the best shape of her life, and she hasn't performed well recently. So I could see a scenario where people just would rather take a shot at Rachel. And
Maybe.
at the end of the day, if you go into elimination three times, like, you're bound to lose one, right?
Hmm.
So I could see like Veronica being someone that gets like if it gets closer to the end, like they might want to take her to the end. Whereas Tina and Rachel are a little bit more threatening, like on paper. Although the only issue here is I believe from the preview, there's some sort of like skull twist, right? Like you have to earn your way to the final, which might not be great for Veronica. Um, Oh, Veronica definitely got asked to do 40. I just think, like, for whatever reason, didn't make the cut or declined. There's no way she didn't get a call, though, right?
I mean, maybe she's out first.
Even
I don't
so,
think
like,
so, but
Veronica could get out
maybe.
first and still get a call, in my opinion. Like, she's like one of the like legends of the game, so I think they gave her the call regardless. But I honestly think Veronica might be on Trader season 3, and I think that's might be why she's not on the challenge.
Okay, okay, you said it here first.
And I do think Traders or House of Villains is a great show for Veronica at this point in her life.
So next pick here is Chris's pick for the men. So the men's getting even slimmer at this point. Who do you think that he might have picked?
I honestly would I feel like Chris, I feel like Chris or anyone would maybe look at it with the same logic as us. It's like, hey, if they're on 40, like they probably had a decent stay here. So I think we're maybe like someone like a Derek would make sense. And then again, I mentioned Ace earlier as someone that just looks the parts. So maybe one of those two. I probably forgetting people too.
Or
Oh wow.
Jay?
Okay, that's surprising. I know he's an alternate, so obviously did enough, but yeah, Jay is not someone that comes to mind for me.
Agreed. It is in line with who Chris tends to choose. He likes the young, athletic people for the most part. I believe that Jay here is a firefighter, and so he thinks that he's going to have a lot of physical aptitude, and that he might want to come in with a bit of a chip on his shoulder for the impression that he made his first time around at the first final that he made it to, and so he's hoping that he comes back with a vengeance. I'm sure is why he chose him here. I wouldn't be choosing him. I just wouldn't have faith in him. I just think he was weak sauce in his season. And like I didn't ever need to see him again. So I wouldn't have
Yeah, the
chosen
fact that
him.
he's no, I wouldn't choose him either. The fact that he's back at all is very surprising. Um, I do think in his favor, I think he definitely is someone that really wants to be there, which I can appreciate. I mean, if it were me, like I would probably be like super desperate to come back too and fix my image if I could. So I get it. Like he's a fan of the show. He obviously looks to be in better shape than the last time we saw him. So honestly, like I don't I don't actually hate him coming back. I'm just very surprised that he is back.
Absolutely. Like, he got a call. Like
Yeah.
were there like 150 people before him? This is the question. I want to see the order of these calls. You know.
Yeah, it's pretty surprising, but I honestly again, I don't hate it and I mean, he did enough to warrant being an alternate, so um an alternate for 40, which is obviously pretty big. So I don't know. I think he could do okay. Not someone I would think would win, but and I could see him being someone if you have to call someone out, I could see him getting called out, but we'll see.
So Mary says that Jay is short, so she is very wary for him in elimination, aka Tommy Baracco. Yeah, I think that
Yeah.
I don't know how he's gonna do. I do think he might come in with a little bit of like some grit, hopefully, just to try to claim his name back, you know. But I don't know if I'd be picking him. I'd let him
Yeah.
fall
I
to
think
me, but I don't know if I'd pick him.
I don't worry as much about like pure physicality on All Stars because it does tend to be more like equalizer eliminations a little bit or endurance based. I know they've done like pole wrestle a couple times, but like you might get one or two headbangers, but I'm not that worried for Jay. I think he's more than capable of winning like a random endurance elimination, which All Stars tends to be a little bit more of. On the flagship, I'd be much more worried about someone like Jay.
All right, who do you think is next? You're like, I don't remember the cast.
Yeah. Oh, I'll just keep saying the same people. Derek, Ace.
Or Brandon.
Oh, Brandon. I forgot about Brandon. Yeah, Brandon makes sense. Yeah, physically like capable player. He's on season 40. So
Mhm.
yeah, all in his favor there. I think he's like always somewhat underrated, has had a tough draw, but yeah, I think Brandon's a pretty solid pick at this point.
I definitely agree. I think I would have taken Brandon over Kefla in that first position there. Just because he has youth on his side. He's on season 40. I think that he kind of had a little bit of bad luck in the seasons that he played with how he's gone out. And so I would think that he's going to come in and be like, I'm ready. I'm here. I'm ready to play. So yeah, I think that definitely this is a good spot to be able to pick up Brandon for sure.
Yeah. Yeah,
For
I think he's
sure.
got like a lot of untapped potential still. And I feel like he's probably, I mean, he might be around 40, but I feel like he's probably on the younger side of this cast as well.
Yeah. I think that so would have Matthew, but he just forgot about Brandon.
Yeah, no, I just forgot about him. Which
Is
seems
that
like
good? I
I
guess
feel
maybe
like
that's not.
Brandon is someone that should have been on the show more. And I don't know why they stopped calling him, but he was always like a fun character. So yeah, I definitely just forgot about him, which is weird because I am obviously we talked about season 40, we did our draft, so I don't know why I forgot about him, but I like Brandon.
Darren says just no PBRs before eliminations.
Yeah.
That was kind of a little bit. It was kind of awkward how that happened though. Like you'd think that he would have maybe asked producers like, "Hey, like, am I gonna have to go in? Like, because I want to have a couple beers." You know, like yeah, I feel like he should have either asked somebody or someone should have told him that like they're going to be disqualified, you know?
Yeah, that was an iconic moment.
It was. That was the moment that was chosen when we played the game for Brandon.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense.
Okay, so who do you think Kahuna took next?
I'll probably forgetting someone again, but let's go Ace or Derek.
Ace it
There we go.
is. Ace gets chosen. I mean, the men are slim pickings, absolutely. But Ace has been on the season before. He didn't do very well, but he has a little bit more experience just with this game
Yeah,
recently.
very
So,
little experience, but a little bit of experience. Yeah,
well,
he
with
got
the
his
new
ass
game,
kicked
a
by
little bit. Yeah.
yeah, he got his ass kicked by Laterian,
Yeah. Some broken
which was
ribs.
quite the elimination there. And I honestly felt really bad for Ace because I don't think in All Stars 1 they knew what they were getting themselves into, and then he's literally getting like pummeled to the ground by Laterian. Um, I I I think Ace is fine. Like I think he wants to be there. He like looks like he's in decent shape. I just don't know if he's got like the killer instinct just from like listening to him in interviews and stuff.
Yeah, it's bland
I think
sauce.
he's kind of like just along for the ride and could make it a little bit, but I feel like he gets himself in an elimination and he's probably gonna go home and just doesn't. I don't know.
No fight.
He's just not an exciting pick.
Nah. So Level Moniki is letting me know that it's Kifla, not Kefla. All right. Hopefully, I will be able to remember that. But that also shows you that I don't know much about this person. Kifla, Kifla, Kifla. Hopefully, I can remember.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't really have much more to say about Ace. He's all right. He's not, he's in the middle, I guess, age wise. I don't really have any faith in him winning elimination either. So I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know. But next up for me, you have been saying it over and over and over again. It is Derek. Derek is the only person on my draft, I think, that is on the cover or on like the promo page. Hold on, let me see. All Stars.
We didn't get Laurel on the promo page?
I don't think so.
Hmm.
Hold on,
Um,
I'll tell you who. Like, the one with the star. So the one
yeah,
with the
I thought
star,
you would read.
it has Leroy, Cam, Derek, Cara Maria, Avery, Tony, Rachel, and Brad. So I'm just
Okay.
like, couldn't you even have like picked me people from the damn poster? But
Yeah.
we got him, and it does bode well that A, he's made the poster, and B, he's on 40, so that's good.
Yeah. Yeah, I think Derek is like someone who like obviously like physically is not going to be the greatest, but I feel like he's someone that's very social. He's probably learned a thing or two from his best friend John A. Um, and any of her connections that are here, I'm sure he can work with. So I think Derek is someone that will be able to like avoid elimination, be able to do decently well. Again, like with like a potential skull twist where you have to earn your way to a final, might be tricky. But I wouldn't be shocked if Derek went pretty far, especially considering he is on 40. So he obviously did enough. I don't think they're gonna call anyone to be on the main cast of 40 if they were a complete dud. So I like Derek. I think he's like a pretty good personality. And obviously his last stay on All Stars was pretty unfortunate. I know he
Mm-hmm.
was dealing with like a death of a family member. So he still did his elimination and did decently well against Nehemiah, but I don't think his head and heart were necessarily in it all the
100%.
way, obviously. So I think it's a deserved second chance, and yeah, I'm excited to see. I think this is a solid pick here.
Mary says Chantel's team is Laurel, Kifla, Janelle, Derek. Oof.
I
Ouch.
don't mind. I don't mind that team. I like obviously like Kefla was a little bit high in my opinion. Janelle I think is a fine pick, but I think Derek at this point is
But I might have
solid.
got Janelle on the loop back. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I would have rather take the risk and gone for Rachel, right?
for sure. Yeah, I don't think Janelle was like a great pick in her spot, but I don't think she's like a horrible player by any means.
Christina wasn't at the live, so youth and connections. On my team so far, connections. Laurel will have a lot of connections. Obviously, that was the first pick. She's definitely awesome. Kifla, maybe the Mean Girls because they would have been on seasons early with him. Maybe Ace. I just don't. Hopefully, maybe the older players will want to group together, like the Arrow Winners. Maybe Janelle. I
Yeah,
don't feel like she's set up very well. I don't know who she's really friends with, what she's from, who's around her. She doesn't really have anybody from around her season times of the real
I
world.
mean, I
So
think the most obvious connection for her is probably Brad. Just like similar timelines, and obviously they did All Stars together already. So if Brad is connected with maybe someone like a Tony, maybe Janelle gets looped in there. But yeah, I mean, Kifla, I'm guessing has like next to no connections. I very much doubt he's kept in touch with the Mean Girls over 20 years. But so, I don't know, maybe that could bode well for him. He doesn't have any enemies, so there's that.
so yeah, Laurel or bust is kind of looking that way. I mean, maybe Derek does surprise us and does really well. Maybe he did some training. Maybe got some tips and pointers from John A. We'll see. Maybe he will do a little bit better now that he's will be able to have his head in the game. Fingers crossed. All right, which male or female do you think they picked for me next here?
I honestly don't even, I can't even figure out who's left.
This is a fun pick. I don't think that she's going to do well, but I think she's going to get a lot of confessionals. Hopefully, she will have a lot of fights, maybe, or arguments. So we got Ayana.
Ah, okay. I forgot she was on the cast. Yeah, I mean, Ayana will, she won't, she will fight for sure. I mean, she's won a bunch of eliminations recently on All Stars, so I think Ayana's a pretty solid pick. I don't know what the state of her relationship with Veronica is because I don't think they ended on great terms. So, would
Sure.
hate for her to be a target of the entire Mean Girl alliance, but I mean, she's definitely capable of winning eliminations and is super fun on the TV.
Yeah, she's super fun. We'll be talking about her eating Jody's Greek salad for life. Like that is etched in the Mount Rushmore of epic lines on the challenge. So yeah, I do love Ayana as a pick here. Sleeping in her uniform so she stays ready. Like she's a badass. Hopefully she learned a thing or two from the last time that she was on. Hopefully she built up her stamina a little bit better because I think that that's one of the reasons why she wasn't able to place as well in the first day of the final that she did make it to. So hopefully she could make it to another final. So happy to see Ayana. Maybe her and Veronica did they talk at all when they were on together before, or were they not on together before?
I don't know if they were on. I think Veronica only did one All-Star season, correct?
And she
I
wasn't with Ayana.
I don't think so. I think
Well,
Ayana
anyways,
did
we
All-Stars
could
too.
see if they get along because they were on the same Road Rules season
Yeah.
together. So that could be interesting. So hopefully she has that built-in friendship there, or at least be willing to work together in an alliance of some sort. So happy to have her, especially in this position.
Yeah.
Who do you think Kahuna might have taken?
Yeah. I don't know who's left. Veronica,
Your
Jasmine.
girl. Yes, finally gets snatched up. Uh, Kahuna's gonna have her. She's gonna get a lot of confessional points, likely. She has a lot of friends in the game. So yeah, I'm excited to see Veronica again.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm always excited to see Veronica. I just think like she's gonna have to just rely like purely on the like strategic side of things. So I think Veronica the path to get to the end is going to be tough if you have to win an elimination. Like she's going to need like some sort of puzzle or something, which isn't impossible, but I don't know. I'll take Veronica on literally any season, and if she gets into any power, like she's gonna make big moves.
Hmm.
She'll be fun. It's exciting to see her here. I don't think she could win, but I would always take her on my team as well.
Hi, Robert. So, yes, this is the draft that the audience picked for me. So we're just going through the order of the draft, just to see how we feel about the order and how my team has stacked up or not stacked up. Yeah, I like Veronica. I'm happy that she's back. I want to see how she does. I can't wait for the reunion of the Mean Girls. So I'm looking forward to this season in general, big time. Next up for Drew, you won't remember, so I'll just say it. It's Flora. Don't remember much about Flora. Still don't. She might be a bit of a hothead, which is fun. So hopefully she'll get some fight points. But she is in her 50s, so likely she will be thrown in pretty early, and I don't know how well she'll do in elimination. So
Yeah, but this is like what I get excited about with All Stars. Like I get excited when I don't remember the name necessarily. Like Kifla, Flora, it's like, all right, well, they are bringing them back like out of nowhere, and there has to be a reason why. Like obviously they had a good interview with production. Obviously they want to be there. So this is like what I think is exciting about All Stars. So yeah, I don't know much about Flora, but if she can be like a Ronnie or a Hisela, then like sign me up for that. And I mean, there's only one way to find out. So I'm here for the Flora ride.
Lovable Nikki's also mentioning that Ayana and Veronica haven't been on a season together since Battle of the Sexes 2.
Hmm.
All right, so they
Yeah.
weren't on All Stars together, but hopefully they are on better terms than they were on Road Rules, because I don't think they were good friends there. Anything else to say about Flora?
Nope.
Yeah, hopefully she's going to be unexpected and fun and great confessionals and all that stuff. Let's hope. Because, when she got cast was when they were still a lot messier in their casting, and like people that got on were full of personality and stuff like that. So we have that to look forward to, that she's not going to be censored like I would say the new era of casting is,
Yeah.
playing for Instagram followers and brand deals.
Yeah.
All right,
Yeah. None of
next.
these people care about that stuff.
Oh, exactly what I like about All Stars. And I think even Tina mentioned that. It's like, yeah, we come on the show to be ourselves. We're not trying to put on a show. Like, they are going to put on a show, but they're not going to try and be anybody but themselves. Chris chooses Jasmine next. Are you surprised about Jasmine here?
Is this the last woman?
I think so.
Yeah, then I'm not surprised because I honestly I'd probably have her last. I mean,
Yeah.
she is similar to Veronica in the sense that she's very small, like she's very short, is not going to win, will potentially have some drama, like obviously like is capable socially and strategically, but the thing is like any elimination, she is going to be favored to lose to almost anyone on the cast, which is just not great, especially if there is a skull twist. So I like Jasmine. She's like a fun character, but I don't have high hopes for her.
Yeah, me neither. Mary doesn't think she was alive with Flora's season of, I guess, the Real World Miami. Actually, that's possible. That could have been in the 90s. So it's very, very possible. Jasmine, yeah, like you said, she's smaller. She's not great with heights. She's just not great. She's all around not great at the physical part of the challenge. She will potentially get in a fight. Maybe she's gonna pop off at Tyree, her ex again. Like, I don't know. So hopefully some fight points will be coming to Chris with her, but she's definitely not somebody that I'd be drafting to get a lot of points here. So
Yeah.
she fell to Chris here.
Yeah, I feel
And
like it'll
Drew
be a
obviously
short
didn't want to take
show.
her, but wanted to go for the chance with Flora.
The only thing in Jasmine's favor is the fact that she was an alternate for 40. So, um, obviously she did enough to warrant being an alternate there, but I just think her best case scenario is just avoid elimination, for half the season, and then once you get thrown in, like you're gonna go home. I don't see much else coming from
I
Jasmine.
mean, maybe Derek is going to do decently well and he's going to be able to protect her in some sort of
Yeah,
capacity.
that's
So,
true. They'll be working together for sure. So there is that.
mhm.
She isn't going in like without allies, and she's a likable person. So
Yes, I did escape Jasmine. If I it started off with me getting Jasmine, like I would just be like, okay, well, I don't have a chance of winning this draft because that would
yeah,
just
not a good
been a
look.
mess because I'd have a bad guy team and not the strongest girl team.
Hmm.
Okay, Level Nikki says 1996. So yes, were you born yet, Mary? Likely not. All right. So, what's the final guy do you think that Chris is going to choose? If you remember
So
who's
who
left,
do we have left? We have
we have.
Tyrese, Cyrus, Adam. I think it'll be Adam.
Yeah, you got it. You got it. It's Adam.
Yeah, honestly,
Adam
I feel like
is. Hmm?
great value for Adam. I mean, we know
Yeah.
he's dating Avery, and he looks like in decent shape. I do remember him a little bit from the show. I don't think he did a many seasons, but I feel like Adam is like a fun personality too. I've listened to some of the like preseason content,
Hmm.
and his interviews were very fun. So I'm excited to see Adam back, like another person where it's like, hey, someone pops out of nowhere, and that's exciting to me. So I think this is a good pick here for Chris, last guy.
Yeah, definitely great guy pick. I would have probably wanted to take more of a chance with him than Keith Flood. Just like I really haven't seen Keith Flood in a long time. I don't know what he brings to the table anymore. And we know that he's going to get some hookup points. You know, we know that's going to happen. And with hookup
Hmm.
points, that means that he might be defending his women at some point. So that means maybe a fight's going to be ensued. You know,
Yeah.
yeah, this is a great position to pick to get Adam. I would say we haven't seen him in a long time, so maybe he's going to flop, but he's definitely going to have a makeout before that happens. So that's good. Good to be
Hmm.
able to count on. All right, second or third last guy here out of four. Who do you think is next with Drew's final male pick?
I think it's got to be Ryan, considering he's on season 40. So,
Called it like
um,
it is. You just have your finger on the pulse here, Matthew.
yeah, I think Ryan is again just the right call because we know he did enough to warrant a spot there. So I don't think he's someone that's going to win either, but maybe he's a little messy. Maybe he does decently well. I guess he could win an elimination, but yeah, I think Ryan is a fine pick considering it's the end. And the other two guys I am not very high on. I love Cyrus, but not super high on his chances.
You're not super high on his chances. What do you mean? Yeah, I mean, he hasn't done very well on the last seasons that he's been on. What his first season, what Fresh Meat one, correct?
For Ryan,
Yeah,
yeah,
or is
I
it
think
two?
I think he's a fresh mate. I feel like the one.
Yeah, I feel like he's from an older season for sure.
Yeah, I think
Um,
he started with like Kenny and Evan, right? Which was fresh meat one, I believe.
so yeah, that's you know, he's somebody I don't mind being on the show because he is part of he's part of the challenge. I was joking when I was playing the game with Drew and Angela from Kiss My Cheeks TV, and just talking about the fact that whenever I tell people that I watch the challenge and I cover it on my channel, they always ask me like, "Oh, do you know Ryan?" And it's like, "Oh, I made out with him."
Hmm.
So every single guy that I meet that knows anything about the challenge has made out with Ryan, which I think is kind of funny. So he's busy in New York City. I want to add this to the end. Okay, so second to last pick here. There's three left. So we got Steve left, we got Cyrus left, and we have Tyree left. So who do you think that Kahuna did for his last male pick?
Well, I fully forgot about Steve, but now that I'm reminded, I think definitely Steve has to be the pick here, just based off of like physicality alone. And I think I don't know if he won an elimination. He definitely won a daily. And I think, yeah, like Steve, bit of a wild card, but yeah, definitely would go Steve over Tyree and Cyrus.
100%. I actually might have picked Steve a little sooner, just for the recency. He's been on the season, you know, pretty soon. Well, he was on last season, right? And the season before, like he did too. He didn't do very well, but like I think he has familiarity of coming back into the fold of these games, and he's quite competitive. And so hopefully he's going to be able to do better than he has in the past couple seasons that he's done.
Yeah.
I I like Steve. I think he's also good looking, and is he's a hand model. Okay,
Yeah.
so now my final pick. Who do you think the audience chose for the last pick of the draft, and who did they decide to keep for themselves?
I mean, just based off of our draft and how I would do it, I would say probably Cyrus is the final pick here.
Yep, on my team, the final pick is Cyrus. You are correct here. How do you feel about Cyrus in the second to last male pick here, and the last male on my team?
I mean, I think Cyrus, like a lot of the other people, like isn't going to win. But I think like his best case scenario is he's just someone that is like very well respected by the rest of the house, and they don't want to take him out of the game, which I think is entirely possible. Where he's kind of like the legacy pick of the house. Obviously, he's one of like the OG reality stars, OG challengers. So I personally really like Cyrus. I just don't see a path for him to win much, if anything at all. That being said, I think Tyree has literally never won anything, and there's just yeah, I think Cyrus is the better pick because he'll be more well respected amongst the house. But I don't have high hopes for Cyrus, unfortunately, as much as I do like him.
Yes, me too. He doesn't have Beth there to help him out. I just don't know if he's going to do super well. I do think he has a lot of heart. I do think he's quite strong. I hope that he's going to be able to at least win one elimination, or maybe win a daily, get some power. I'm rooting for you, Cyrus. I'm just not sure with your track record if you're going to do super well, unfortunately. Yeah. Robert says Cyrus needs to take power in the game. Yeah. If he has power, like I'd be interested to see who you know, who what he does with his power, but I'm not sure if it will happen. Mary says so Cyrus has to win an elimination to be on the finale. What does that mean?
Well, if there's a like skull twist type of thing,
Oh, yeah.
um,
Skulls. I mean, that'd be great.
yeah. Well, I
Well, it
mean, I
seems that
hate the
there is
skull
some sort of
twist, but
skull twist because people have
there
like
is, yeah.
stars on their helmets, and assuming that's after winning some sort of elimination, right?
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. So that's what I was saying about like Veronica too. It's like if there's a skull twist where you have to win an elimination, like I don't love that. I mean, I hate that in general, to be honest, but yeah, I don't love that for like someone like Cyrus because he will have to essentially nominate himself to go in, or he'd be going in anyways, and then someone will nominate themselves to go against him, which I think is just kind of stupid and in my opinion hurts the game more than it helps it. But because then anytime like if say like a Leroy or Brad or someone that's stronger sees that Cyrus is the one going in, like they're incentivized to volunteer to go against him, which just makes all the physically weaker players go home early, which is a flaw in the system, in my opinion. So I am anti skull twist, but we are getting some sort of skull twist. So what can you do?
So now our last pick or person here that didn't get chosen, so the audience does get to receive him, is Tyree here. Um, how do we feel about Tyree being the last pick on almost everybody's draft? He's number 25, so there's 25 people on this season, which is odd. no pun intended at all. Uh, Yeah, what do we think about Tyree being on the season and being number 25?
Surprised he's on the season. Not surprised he's the last drafted person. I mean, we talked about it with Michelle as well, but I'm pretty sure he's the he's statistically the worst challenger of all time. Um, he's I think 0 for 5 in eliminations and has always gone home in the first like 3 or 4 episodes. Um, so his track record is just horrible. And I think a lot of that is just due to size. Like his endurance is just not great. I think he presents obviously as a big, strong dude, but I don't know if that translates to the battlegrounds. So I think like best case for him is maybe he re-sparks something with Jasmine or gets in a fight with Jasmine, and before he goes home, he gets a point or two there. But yeah, I just think Tyree is not long for the game.
Darren says that Cyrus is an alternate and that he comes on because he replaces somebody. Whoa, no. Brutal. So I don't even have him necessarily on my team. Anyways, I'm surprised that they keep bringing Tyree on as well. I'm not sure how he keeps on getting the call or calls in general. Yeah, because he was on another season. What happened? I don't remember what happened. Or was he an alternate? Or is it the same season? Oh, it's the same season that we just did a draft for him a year ago. And we talked about it then, but he hasn't been on another season recently, correct?
Yeah, I don't think we've seen him in quite a while.
Okay.
I think maybe Battle of the X's with Jasmine was the last time we might have seen him.
Mm-hmm.
If he was even on, I don't even remember if he was on that, but it's been a while.
It's been a while. All right. So just to round it up, hold on. Let's just this here. So this is the draft team here. So just taking a quick look at it, who do you think has the best team? And what do you think of my draft team on a whole?
I personally think that I personally think that Drew has the best team, um, in part because he has 4 people that are going to be on season 40, which again, I think to me is like a bit of a tell that they don't do horribly. And then he has Cam, who obviously is great, and Flora is a bit of an unknown, but I think overall it's a pretty solid team. Um, where I think there's a clear, in my opinion, a top 3 women and top 3 men, and he's got one of each. Um, as does Kahuna, but I just think you know what? I actually like Kahuna's team quite a bit as well. Um,
I
but I
was
just
saying
think
that
like
I felt that Kahuna had the strongest team. I think for the women, I think is strong, and I think like with Tony up there, but I also think Steve, like yes, he was, you know, in the final pick, Rosa picking. I do think that he's actually stronger than maybe his position, picked position shows. So I
yeah,
think Kahuna's
yeah,
a
I
good
think
team too.
Steve is slightly better than Ryan. And then Brandon and Ace, I think Brandon is probably slightly better than Ace. So I think it's pretty similar. Flora, I'd probably put Veronica ahead of Flora just based off
Agreed.
connections and experience. And I'd put Rachel a bit ahead of Avery. So yeah, I think Kahuna's team is pretty strong. In terms of your team, think it is not great. Um, I think the men are tough. Like just the fact that you didn't get one of those big 3 men puts you at a huge disadvantage. And then I just don't know if the men that you did get are the best choices. Like honestly, like I would probably have people like I honestly might have like Adam ahead of any of your men. And Adam went last round, which is pretty tough. And then yeah, like Brandon, I might have ahead of any of your men. And then for the women, I don't know either. Like Laurel is obviously great, but beyond Laurel, I'm a bit iffy on the team. I think the audience might not have done the best job for you, unfortunately.
Now, so where the wheels went off the bus. So instead of Kefla, sorry, uh, which you would have put Adam in that position there, correct?
Yeah, I would probably put Brandon or Adam. Yeah.
No, I think I would have put Brandon in there actually, because Brandon is on season 40. He's younger. So yeah, I probably would have put Brandon here. And then for the women, I would have definitely put Rachel or Avery ahead of Janelle.
Yeah, I would do the same. Um yeah, I just think Rachel was like such like an obvious pick there that it's tough that the audience didn't give you Rachel. She just stands out. I think Janelle and Avery maybe are pretty similar. Just the fact that Avery's um younger and I mean, I think seemingly taller and more physical, I think is it in her favor. Um I don't think Janelle and Avery are that much apart though, but yeah, not getting Rachel is tough.
Well,
I
it's
think
like
Chris's
I
team is
might have still received Janelle. You know what I mean? Like depending on how they obviously picked, but I don't know if Kahuna would have probably chosen Avery. Drew, would he have chosen Janelle? Hmm.
yeah, that's actually true. I think Janelle easily could have been there still. You would have just needed one of Ayana, Veronica, or Flora to go ahead. Probably you would not have got Janelle, but I wouldn't be completely shocked if, say, one of them took Ayana instead. Or I
I
guess it would be
do have
Chris
to
would have.
agree that Chris, I would say his team is not as strong. I think my team is stronger than Chris's. So right now, the order, I think Kahuna has the strongest team, well rounded. So it has people that are strong in competitively, but then also I think that a lot of the people like Veronica, I do think Rachel, Tony, and Cara will be heavy hitters in the confessionals as well. And so I think that he's a well-rounded, strong team, both male and female side of things. Stronger on the female side for sure, but still pretty strong on the male side. Then I think Drew, as we said, it was pretty similar with just maybe Steve edging out Ryan in a better pick. And then third place would be my team, I would say. I think that my women are stronger than my men. And then Chris's team, I think, is kind of bottom of the barrel here, though.
Yeah, I think for Chris, it's honestly just I think yours and Chris's teams are similar in the sense that like you have Laurel, who's a huge threat
And I think he
and
is
will
Leroy.
be great, and then he has Leroy. Um, I just think like Nicole, the fact is like yeah, Nicole's good physically and like will bring drama and hookups, but like I just think Rachel is has way better win equity than Nicole. But yeah, I don't know how exactly the point system works in terms of who gets how much each is worth. But personally, I just yeah, I think it's like Chris is relying a lot on Leroy, and then you're relying a lot on Laurel.
Yeah, Mike says still think that Janelle was a perfect in that position. She's recently proven herself. And Rachel, then Rachel or Avery, and Rachel or Avery haven't. Uh, okay, fine, but she wasn't. She didn't get that many points, even being on that season into the final, and so I would put more faith that Rachel would be equal to Janelle or have an edge because she has friends in the game. She just has an edge. Like they're either going to be the same or she's going to have a little bit of an edge with the fact that she has both Tina and Veronica and other people from around their era that she might actually know that we don't even know that they're really good friends. So I just think that she has a little bit more of an edge than Janelle does in that
Yeah,
position.
yeah, and I think we've seen far too much recently that your abilities don't actually matter that much if you have friends. So, like we see with a lot of people on the main show, all that really matters is who else is on the cast, and Rachel has her two best friends there. So I think even though she hasn't proved herself in several years, she looks the part and has the friends.
And
So
she's
that's
on the
all that matters.
challenge workout videos. Like she
Yeah.
still is really in shape and she's still in good friends, seemingly with the producers and production stuff like that. So they wanted to do well. And Janelle might not be on their good side with the fact that she was kind of speaking some truths about that All Stars finale. So I don't know. Um, so Veronica was an exception to the age thing last All Stars, though. So yeah, she was, but didn't she go out because of an injury? And injuries usually happen when you're not in as good of shape, usually, right? So
Yeah. Veronica did go, I think she got pulled from the game right before the final
yeah.
too.
Hmm.
So I mean, Veronica is like definitely. I personally think Veronica will probably have a similar experience as her last All Stars, where she probably will go far because she's viewed as not a threat, and then like probably loses right before the final. That's how I think Veronica will go, and I'm totally down for that because I just want her on my screen more. Um, I don't necessarily think like if you're like Kara or Laurel or Cam and you're these big threats, Nicole, like are you really throwing Veronica in when you can throw in Rachel or Tina or Kara, Laurel, Nicole, Cam? Like they're gonna throw each other in, I would imagine. Um, so I don't think Veronica is in that much danger early on, at least.
Fair. And I think that Janelle could be in more danger because she's going to be strong and not connected, right?
Yeah, exactly. And
So
like someone like Avery too. Like I could see Avery getting thrown into an elimination
yeah,
just off of appearance. Whereas like Veronica, they're gonna look at her and be like, all right, well, we can beat her in a final.
absolutely. She's not so threatening. All right, well, that is it for just taking a look at the draft that I did. Well, not I did, the audience did on my behalf on the Nullified Take. Let us know in the comments below whose draft do you think is the best? Who do you think is the worst? Did the audience sabotage me? Do I have a shot at winning this draft? Let us know in the comments. Like this video as well. And do you have anything going on, Matthew, that you want to share with the people?
No, just getting ready for more challenge and
And
yeah,
the goat soon,
got
hopefully.
yeah. Honestly, I think it's gonna be well. We obviously have this one coming up quick, and then I mean 40 is well underway. I imagine they're gonna want to get that turned around quick as well. So I think we're in a really good place challenge wise for the next little bit.
It is a little bit of a sabotage, but let's how about we put in some good juju, because maybe we don't know how the season's actually going to shake out, and maybe my team will be a surprising star and I will get more points than expected because all those top dogs will eat at each other and my team will just be left alone because they're not as threatening. Maybe. Fingers crossed.
It's
We'll
possible.
see. We'll talk to everybody soon. Please subscribe to the channel. As I said, like this video and let us know in the comments all your thoughts on the draft order, the audience picks, all that jazz. And we'll see you guys soon.